Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing a half face of Glossier, half face of Undone Beauty. I have my half faces on right now and I'm going to give you guys a moment to get your guesses in for what side is which. So this side right here is my Glossier side, and this side right here is my Undone Beauty side. I think both sides came out super beautiful. I have preferences in all the categories for which side I like better. At the end of the video, I also give a rundown of every single category and give my recommendations based on the performance and the price, so definitely stay tuned till the end for that. Honestly, I can't tell a whole lot of difference here. Like, I would go out in public and expect nobody to think I was wearing different brands on my face. Like, this looks amazing. I totally forgot to mention this in the video and my camera died, so I grabbed my vlogging camera, but I do want to let you guys know I am a Glossier rep. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that, but I feel like it's important to share. It's important to be transparent. It's important to let you guys know that I do make money if you choose to shop through the link down below. You guys will save 10%. I get the 10% that you save. Along with that, all of the Undone Beauty links will be Amazon affiliate links, so I will earn commission if you choose to purchase through those links as well. Me making money on any of this doesn't change my opinion on literally anything. It's just cool, you know? It's cool for me. I would make the video regardless because I'm a beauty channel. But anyway, yeah, enjoy the video. Bye. I'm going to be applying my Glossier products to this side of my face and my Undone Beauty products to this side of my face. I'm going to start with my Glossier Skin Tint. I use the shade G7 in this product. And I always blend out my skin tint with a brush. I like to kind of press the product into the skin first and then buff it into the skin. For the Undone Beauty side, I have the glow tints. I have the shades Latte Medium and the shades Almond Latte Medium, and in order to match my skin right now, I do have to mix these, unfortunately. I want to say the glow tint does offer a little bit more coverage than the Glossier skin tint. However, they both feel very lightweight on the skin, and they both look very, very skin-like. For my concealer on the Glossier side, I'm taking my Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I use the shade G7 in this product. I'm going to be applying it on my cheeks, as well as around my nose, and then I have a little bit of scarring on my chin. And then I'll also be taking this product underneath the eyes. I adore the Stretch Concealer. I think it is so skin-like, but it does an amazing job covering up your imperfections. And I love the glow that it leaves. To absorb any excess product, I am just gonna go over lightly with a sponge. For the Undone Beauty side, I have the Conceal to Reveal palette. This is shade 3 Latte Medium. There are 3 different coverages on the concealer, but I do just kind of mix them all together on my brush. I feel as though the concealer from Undone Beauty has a very similar coverage to the Glossier concealer. However, it is not as dewy as the Glossier concealer, so that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing depending on what you prefer personally. One other thing I notice about this concealer, which is just very personal and situational, is that it's not my perfect shade. I feel as though the Glossier Stretch Concealer is spot on shade wise, but the concealer from Undone Beauty is just a little bit too light and a little bit too cool toned, which isn't necessarily the product's fault. It's just a matter of me not having the right shade or the right shade not existing. For bronzer, you guys have seen me do this before. I'm going to take my Wowder in the shade Dark Deep, and I am going to use that as my bronzer. It's very beautiful as a bronzer, however, I'm still patiently waiting for a Glossier bronzer. I, at this point, feel as though they're just not going to come out with one, which kind of sucks. I just applied way too much, though. Did that fix it? Yeah, that looks better. It's applied so much. Oh my god. Undone Beauty does have a bronzer of their own. They have the Warm Up Bronzer. It comes with 2 bronzer strips and highlight strips. I just take my brush over the bronzer strips. And I actually adore this bronzer. I think it is so beautiful. Although I enjoy the large pan, I do think it could be a little bit smaller just because this would be the most perfect product to travel with, but it's kind of big. Like, it's huge. I would maybe want it to be just a little bit smaller, but I do think it's an amazing product. I love how versatile it is, and it is just, it's so beautiful, like, on the skin. For the Glossier side, I am going to be mixing my 2 favorite cloud paints, Storm and Dusk. Mixing these is going to create a pretty good match to the Undone blush that I'm going to be using. You can, by the way, get the cloud paint duos for a discounted price. I believe you end up saving like $6 or something if you do the duo, which is a really nice savings. Plus, I always recommend getting Glossier cloud paints in a duo because you can technically then get like 3 shades because you can mix them. And how beautiful is that shade? I really hope that like one day Glossier has like a pop-up where you can kind of create your own shades of stuff, because I'm always mixing cloud paints, and how amazing would it be if there was like a Glossier lab where you can just like get your own cloud paint bottled up. So for the Undone side, I am going to be taking the Lip to Cheek palette. This is in the shade Rosewood. This is so beautiful. I was so excited when I saw that they released a new shade in this cream blush formula because they had 3 before. I really enjoyed 2 of the 3. I think the third one was like a coral, and I just don't do corals, but I love this cream blush formula. It's so beautiful, so dewy. It lays on the skin so nicely, and I've got to say I am really impressed with the formula. I actually traveled with this cream blush this past weekend to New York, and the days that I wore it, first of all, my makeup was on my face for like so fucking long, like 14-hour days I was having, and my cream blush stayed on my face all day, and it was the Undone Beauty Lip to Cheek palettes. Like, these are amazing. They last so long, and they're so beautiful. Like, how beautiful is this cheek? For my highlight on the Glossier side, I will be taking the Glossier Play Night Shine, and I'm using the shade Platinum Rose. The reason why I didn't grab one of my halo scopes is because the halo scope is just not that intense, and the highlighter that I have for the Undone side I feel like is pretty intense. I just wanted the 2 sides to be able to mimic each other a little bit better. For my highlight, I'm going to be taking the highlighters from the Warm Up Bronzer, and I'm going to try something. Hopefully it works out okay, but I'm going to try applying it with my sponge, only because I filmed this video a little bit earlier and I just didn't love how it came out, and I didn't love how the highlighter looked on the Undone Beauty side because I was putting a powder over cream. So hopefully this kind of helps it a little bit. I think so. I think that worked. Yeah, I think that applied a bit better. I do think I need to like add my dew back in. I feel like I lost a bit of my dew, but I think that worked a bit better. I like how that looks a lot. I just did my eyebrows because Undone Beauty does not have an eyebrow product. For my eyes, I have Glossier Sky Washes and I have Glossier Lid Stars. And then for the Undone Beauty side, I have an Undone Beauty eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use my Sky Washes and my Lid Stars to create a look that I know I can create with the Undone Beauty eyeshadow palette. I'm going to take my Sky Wash in Echo and I'm applying that to the outer corner. And also, don't worry, I am going to be doing a whole video on the Sky Washes. I don't know if it's going to be like an updated full face of Glossier and then doing a review on the Sky Washes, or just a full-on review of the Sky Washes. I think that's probably what I'll end up doing. I just feel like I have so many full faces of Glossier at this point on my channel, but I have been loving them. I've been really enjoying them. I kind of just want to wear them a few times, create some more looks with them before I hop on camera and give my review. I'm going to take Palm and I'm just going to apply it over Echo. I don't know, I kind of wanted to like warm it up a little bit. I don't know if that's really gonna warm it up, but we'll see. Because I know that there's a cute pink color in the Undone Beauty eyeshadow palette, I'm taking the Slip Lid Star and I'm just applying that to my eyelid. And I'm taking my brush and I'm going to blend it out. So that's a cute, soft eye look. I'm going to recreate it really quick using the Undone Beauty eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to start out with that matte brown right there. So this brown is not quite as cool toned, I guess I would say, as the Echo shade. I feel like the brown in the Undone Beauty palette is a little bit warmer, which I like a lot. I definitely prefer a warmer eye, but they're doing basically the same thing. It's not anything crazy. I think the convenience of a palette is really nice, but I hardly ever reach for this palette. From the Undone palette, I'm taking that baby pink shade and I'm going to apply it all over the eyelid. This is gonna be like my slip, basically. This shade actually ends up being a lot less intense than I expect it to be. I expected it to be kind of a really metallic, and it's just, I don't know, it's super duper sheer. So I guess that makes the lid stars, like it makes it very similar. It has a very similar look, but I don't expect a powdered eyeshadow to be sheer. I expect the lid stars to be sheer because that's what they are, but I never really expect a powdered eyeshadow to be sheer. For my mascara, I am going to take my Glossier Lash Slick Mascara. Undone does have a mascara of their own. I really don't recommend you purchase it. It's actually so horrible. I did have one and I threw it away. It was so bad. It looked like there was absolutely nothing applied to my lashes, but it made my lashes feel like cement, and it was so hard to get off, and it was just so bad. It looked so bad. It was not good at all. This is looking so good. Like, both sides are looking so good. The Undone side looks amazing. I totally forgot to set my face, and the only reason why I'm doing this is because I actually really like the Undone Beauty powder. I don't love the Glossier powder for setting my makeup. I don't know. I don't like it, but then I see a lot of other people saying that they really like it. And even like Jackie Aina was like paid to do like a promotion for the powder when it first launched. I feel like Jackie Aina wouldn't do an ad for a company if she didn't like love the product. So I don't know, I'm just torn about it. Even Kathleen Lights really likes the powder, but I just like really don't. So I don't know, confusion. But I actually love the Undone Beauty powder. It's so beautiful. It lays really well on the skin. It's called Under Over powder, and apparently you can wear it under your makeup as well. I have not tried that, mainly because I keep forgetting. But yeah, just big fan of this powder. So when I originally did this video, I actually compared the Generation G lipsticks to the Undone Beauty Light On lipsticks, and they're just too different in my opinion. The Generation G lipsticks are very matte, and the Undone Beauty lipsticks are very glossy. In my opinion, I prefer the Glossier Generation G lipsticks over the Undone Beauty lipsticks. There's nothing wrong with the Undone Beauty lipsticks. I just find the Generation G lipsticks to be much more unique. I hardly reach for my Undone Beauty lipsticks just because I have it. Like, I already have it in a million shades from a million other brands. But however, for the video, I'm still going to compare Glossier to Undone, but I'm going to actually compare it to the Glossier Play lip gloss in the shade Pony. I swatched the two shades right here and they look pretty similar, and they're both much more glossy and creamy, so I'm going to compare those instead. I feel like they will just look a lot more similar. This Light On lip is in Gosh Garnet. Wow, they actually look super duper similar on the lips. Like, they look very, very similar. The Undone Beauty Light on Lip is a little gritty because it does have some sparkle to it, and the Glossier lip gloss in Pony feels a bit thicker and like a little bit more silky. I'm not gonna have my mom come up here again because she came up here earlier for the original video that I filmed, but she did come up here and she did prefer the Undone Beauty side, which I found to be interesting because I really was not feeling it earlier, but I can totally see what she was saying. This side really does just look so much smoother, but I love the glow on my Glossier side. And obviously with like glowy skin is gonna highlight the texture just a little bit more, whereas more of a matte or satin look, it's going to make my skin look a little bit more smooth, which is kind of what the Undone Beauty side is doing right now. However, like I said earlier, I love the glow. I can't get over the glow. But yeah, as far as the skin, I think that both sides look really beautiful. I think it's just preference. I will say, however, I want you guys to see up close. If you guys can tell, my Undone Beauty concealer is creasing much more than my Glossier Stretch Concealer, and it's concealer. It's underneath my eyes. It's gonna fucking crease. But I do notice a bit more creasing on my Undone Beauty side compared to my Glossier side. While I'm up here, why don't we just do a close-up of my skin. I definitely feel like you guys are going to agree with me on the sense where like my skin just does look more textured on the Glossier side. So like my skin does look more textured over here, but I definitely think it is because of the dew, but I just love the glow. I love it. I really do feel like both sides look amazing though. There is not really a whole lot of difference in my opinion. I do have overall preferences on the products, but I am going to give a rundown on everything we just used and give you guys kind of my final recommendations on each category, having to do with quality and price. Comparing the Glossier skin tint to the Undone glow tint, I find myself reaching for my skin tint way more often than my glow tint, but personally seeing them side by side, there isn't a whole lot of difference between these two products, and personally, I prefer the packaging on the Undone Beauty side. However, I really don't love the smell of this. I know I didn't address it in the video at all, but the smell of this is a little bit off-putting. It's not fragranted, it just doesn't smell right. There's something about it that like smells off. And another thing that's not super great about this skin tint is the shade selection. I feel like I struggle to find my perfect shade in this, especially because I do have to mix these two shades in order to get something that works for me. Whereas my Glossier skin tint, I know the shade that works for me and it works well. So that's something to keep in mind. However, if you can find your perfect shade in the glow tint, I totally think it would be worth your money to buy the glow tint and skip out on the skin tint only because they are so similar in formulation. Moving on to the concealer, I hands down prefer the Glossier Stretch Concealer. However, the Undone Beauty concealer palette is a really amazing dupe. There are a lot of similarities and there are a lot of differences. As far as coverage, they perform very similar. I totally feel like I can cover up anything with both of these products. The finish of them is a little bit different. I find the Stretch Concealer to just be a little bit more skin-like and a little bit more glowy. The Undone Beauty Concealer has more of a satin finish, I would say. And similar to the glow tint, I find it to be a little bit challenging to find my perfect shade in the Undone Beauty concealer, whereas in the Stretch Concealer from Glossier, I know my shade and it's perfect. Also taking into consideration the small amount of creasing that I saw underneath my eyes, I definitely think it would be worth it to spend a little bit more money and get the Glossier Stretch Concealer. However, the Undone Beauty Concealer is a really good dupe and I don't think that you would be unhappy with it if you did end up purchasing it. Moving on to my bronzer, I have to give it to the Undone Beauty bronzer. It's an actual bronzer and not a makeshift one. I'm waiting for Glossier to come out with a bronzer and then maybe we'll put it to the test again, but I do really love the warm up bronzer from Undone Beauty. I think it's an amazing product. I love the versatility of it and I think it performs really beautifully. However, the Glossier Wowder as a bronzer in this shade does work really well and I love how it warms up the skin. However, just get the freaking bronzer from Undone Beauty. It's like it's a real bronzer, you know what I mean? Moving on to blush, this one's gonna be a little bit harder for me because I am so in love with my Glossier Cloud Paints. It's not even funny. Like, the Glossier Cloud Paints just take up so much of my heart. However, she's beautiful. She is stunning. Like, the Undone Beauty blush is so beautiful on the skin. It is so glowy. It lasts for freaking ever. It lasts so well. And let's just be honest here, pulling out a cream blush compact is way easier than squeezing out the blush and mixing it together and putting it on my cheeks. This is just easier. It works so well. The color is beautiful and it's beautiful on the skin. The Cloud Paints will always have a place in my heart. And honestly, before Undone Beauty came out with this rosewood shade, I 110% would be like, just go ahead and get yourself a Cloud Paint, because the shade selection in the Undone Beauty blushes just wasn't there for me. Like, it didn't have my favorite blush, but oh my god, this is so freaking beautiful. Just pick up the Undone Beauty blush, honestly, just pick it up. It is so stunning. This specific shade is perfect, and I know I'm going to be reaching for it a ton in the future. But don't worry, my Cloud Paints are not being retired. I'm definitely going to continue using these, but I am just currently so impressed with the Undone Beauty blush, and it's so cheap. Totally spend your money on the Undone Beauty blush. As far as the whole eyeshadow situation, I don't ever find myself reaching for this eyeshadow palette. I'll just be honest, from Undone Beauty, I never really use it. I also was a little bit disappointed in it in the way that it showed up so sheer on my eyelids. I just personally would not expect that from a powdered eyeshadow palette. I know that the Glossier eyeshadows are sheer eyeshadows, but I expect them to be sheer, and I love working with them. They're almost fun to work with. So I definitely prefer the Glossier like eyeshadow shades, eyeshadow colors, eyeshadows in general over the Undone Beauty eyeshadow palette. But that's your call to make. I know that having all of these is not practical for everyone, and an eyeshadow palette is just way more convenient for every day. And lastly, the lip situation going on right now. I totally prefer the Glossier Play lip gloss in the shade Pony. The light on lip from Undone is very beautiful. However, there is a grittiness to it that I don't love, and I do just feel like the Glossier lip gloss perfects my lips just a little bit more, which I obviously prefer. But that is going to be it for me today. Let me know which side you guys preferred. I really believe in Undone Beauty, and I really believe that there are some amazing Glossier dupes in the Undone Beauty line that are worth checking out. But that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's other brands that you guys want to see comparisons of in the future, go ahead and leave me a comment down below letting me know so I can kind of think about those and make a list of what you guys want to see. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.